We waited for this really long, and finally it's happening, hopefully.
Laws. So DOJ says the policies favor illegal aliens over American citizens.
Yeah.
Bill Melugin live in LA with more. Hi, Bill.
Danny, good morning to you. The Trump Department of Justice says that LA sanctuary policies deliberately...
Give me 1 second.
So DOJ says the policies favor illegal aliens over American.
Here we go. Illegal aliens. Do you hear that wording? So you heard the wording, right? Illegal aliens. That's the big issue that I have. I mentioned it before a couple of times. So what Democratic Party is trying to do is put all of the immigrants into the same basket, same shelf, same bag, whatever you want to say. But it's not true. Normal immigrants have all of the paperwork, pay taxes. They're in the country legally, right? Legally. But then you have illegal aliens, which Democratic Party, for some reason, calls immigrants. Just immigrants, not illegal immigrants, just immigrants. Or if they go being a little bit more honest, still disingenuous as hell, they call them undocumented immigrants. Sorry, I don't know, what was that? Which is ridiculous, because it's promoting hate towards all of the immigrants. I mean, looking with what's going on and how President Trump is trying to drop the hammer on the illegal aliens, and all of the Democrats are against it. Again, what do you think is going to happen? Most of the Republicans who just read the news might eventually start thinking about all of the immigrants are same and equal, which is not true. What is it going to promote? And Democrats go even further. They're like, oh, well, one day the ICE is going to come to the school. Seriously? I don't know American laws, but how are you going to send the kid to the school without any documents? Without birth certificate or anything like that? That to me sounds crazy. And if it's really possible in the US, you should look into that, because that sounds ridiculous. But no, like what Democrats are trying to do is like anyone who's immigrant is just getting deported, which is so disingenuous. And eventually it's going to cause the issues. Eventually it's going to lead to violence. Yeah. So let's see what's going on with LA, because that's California is one of the states that are literally obstructing justice by trying to prevent ICE from taking the illegal aliens and deporting them, which is ridiculous. And it definitely is illegal. It's against the law, obviously. And finally, someone's going to do something about it.
American citizens. Bill Melugin live in LA with more. Hi, Bill.
Danny, good morning to you. The Trump Department of Justice says that LA sanctuary policies deliberately impede ICE from being able to do their job. And they say those policies are a violation of the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution. That clause essentially says that federal law always supersedes state and local laws. So here's a little excerpt as part of that DOJ lawsuit. It reads, quote, the Los Angeles ordinance and other policies intentionally discriminate against the federal government by treating federal immigration authorities differently than other law enforcement agents, and by disfavoring federal criminal laws that the city of Los Angeles has decided not to comply with. The Supremacy Clause prohibits the city of Los Angeles and its officials from singling out the federal government for adverse treatment, as the challenged law and policies do, thereby discriminating against the federal government. Now, DOJ goes on to say in the lawsuit that LA sanctuary policies directly led to the riots the city saw in recent weeks, and that the city...
Wait, riots? I thought the mayor said that it was peaceful protest. It was bricks of peace and peaceful Tesla fires and all of this. It's ridiculous. Well, I feel like it was on the edge of President Trump calling like state emergency or something like that, and just sending the National Guard there. I know he sent few of them, but come on, this was ridiculous. And again, like the mayor, the governor, everyone should go to prison. Come on. It's ridiculous that they were literally telling the citizens of California or residents of California not to let ICE take their neighbors. It's like, come on, they're already illegal. Why are you even keeping them there? It's
City of LA rushed to pass their sanctuary ordinance with urgency just days after Trump was elected, as DOJ says, in an effort to, quote, thwart the will of the American people. Now, last night on Fox News, Attorney General Pam Bondi said the DOJ will move forward with this lawsuit, and they are directly naming LA Mayor Karen Bass as a defendant.
What they were doing is they were prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens, and you cannot do that. These sanctuary policies are the root of the cause of violent crime in our country, in LA. We have sued New York, Illinois, Colorado, New Jersey, and now we've sued Los Angeles, and we will continue to sue you if you do not follow the laws of our country.
In Los Angeles.
Honestly, I don't understand how this mayor, Karen Bass, is still there after the fiasco with the fires, the LA wildfires, when they didn't have water in the fire hydrants. Like, seriously? And she was somewhere on the trip in Africa, not picking up the phones or something like that. That was ridiculous. How is she still in the office? I honestly hope they will get her on this, and if she's not going to go to prison, at least just her political career should be over. They should make an example out of her, because this negligence and like what? Are we waiting for the third strike? What is the third strike gonna be? And I know I was not really joking. I currently live in Alberta in Canada, and we're probably gonna have a referendum about separation, so I was always kind of hoping, talking about it, joking that eventually we'll become the 51st state. Not the whole Canada, just few provinces, right? Well, now I'm kind of thinking that we might become 50th state, and if LA is gonna be pulling this shit, but they might leave US soon. I wouldn't be surprised, but no, obviously no one's gonna send California. No one's going to separate California from US. California is like one of the trademarks of US, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's okay what's going on there, but everyone knows LA and California. Same like everyone knows Texas and stuff, right? It's one of the trademarks.
Mayor Karen Bass has not yet publicly responded to the DOJ lawsuit against her city. She has not returned Fox's request for comment, nor has she posted about the lawsuit on social media. However, she is having a press conference in about 3 hours from now where she says she will be responding to this lawsuit. And back out here live, what DOJ is asking for is they want a federal judge to block LA sanctuary policies from being enforced, and they want those policies to be ruled illegal and unlawful. The judge assigned to this case is Judge Fernando Olguin. He is an Obama appointee here in Los Angeles. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you.
So I want to bring in Bill Esaley, U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California. Sir, thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. You just heard Bill's reporting there. What does the mayor say about this in a few hours?
You know, she's probably going to defend her ordinance. She's going to say that the city of LA is essentially a sanctuary from immigration laws. But the whole point of this lawsuit is that it is not. These politicians have conditioned the public to really believe that they can exempt themselves from our immigration policies.
Yeah,
and this
ridiculous.
lawsuit is to remind them that they are still part of the United States of America.
Okay, here is a councilman in LA, okay, Hugo Soto Martinez. He says Trump is tearing families apart, and he's trying to force every city in town to help him carry out his white nationalist agenda. We refuse to stand by and let Donald Trump deport innocent families. We're going to do everything within our power to keep families together. What do you say to that?
I say send him to jail, lawsuit against this dude, defamation, fake news. It's just ridiculous. Like, if you're illegally in California or US, right? California's part of the US, like they mentioned, and we all know about it, right? What are we talking about? Like, if the whole family is there illegally, so what? We should keep them there only because they're family? That's ridiculous. Just get your papers in order and you can stay in the US. Done, right? I don't know what's the big issue. And I just don't understand how you can publicly say that you're going to be obstructing the law and nothing's going to happen to you. No, this is the big issue. Like, President Trump needs to deal with pretty much whole California. And I wonder what's the judge gonna rule, since he was appointed by Obama. We know Obama deported most of the illegal aliens. I don't know if it's still correct with President Trump deporting as much as he can, right? But if he's not the first one, he's going to be the second one. So I wonder if this judge is going to be against illegal immigration or no. I just hope he's going to follow the law, that he's going to keep his feelings in the locker and just go by the book, because that's why he's appointed, right? And if he's not going to follow that, well, might be end of his career, because what are we talking about? Federal law is above the state law, and especially in this case.
You know, this guy shouldn't be anywhere near public office. What the president, the attorney general, and myself are doing is we are enforcing the law as written by Congress. And if these politicians don't like the law, if Karen Bass doesn't like the law, she should have changed it when she was in Congress. But they didn't do that. So we're not going to be lectured by these lawless politicians who, frankly, are more interested in protecting illegal aliens, criminal illegal aliens, than American citizens. And so there's a new sheriff in town, and it's.
I just wonder if they got elected thanks to these illegal aliens, because, you know, they didn't have voters' ID. So what BS is that? You don't have to identify yourself when you go vote? That's ridiculous. I really wonder if they deport all of the illegal aliens out of LA, if California is still going to be blue or no. I think it probably will, but still.
The federal government, and we will not be deterred.
Okay, I'm going to get to this executive order in a moment, but I want to ask you about these 6 Republican lawmakers in California. They're asking for flexibility, all right? This is what they write. Recent ICE raids are not only targeting undocumented workers, but also creating widespread fear among other employees, including those with legal immigration status. The fear is driving vital workers out of critical industries, taking California's affordability crisis and making it even worse for our constituents. The policy.
Wait, what? How can it make the affordability crisis even worse when you literally deport illegal aliens and some of the houses will become empty, right? And tell me, I'm an immigrant. Why are they afraid if they have all of the paperwork in order? What are you afraid of? Explain that to me. If you're not doing anything illegal, why are you afraid of? It's easy as that. Just keep your passport, your immigration papers on hand, and if someone stops you, here, look, I'm not illegal. Done. What are we talking about?
Policy has seesawed a little bit, would you not say? And look, the president's given a little bit of wiggle room. Like, where does that go? How do you stretch that balloon or restrict it?
Look, we've always been clear. Our priority is criminal illegal aliens, and that's who we focus our resources on. But when we're a state like California, which we cannot get any cooperation from the locals, we have to cast a broader net. We have to go into the community and do immigration operations. And what the president has said is we cannot just ignore the law. So if there are people out there we encounter that are here unlawfully, they're going to get deported. That's just the way it works. But that's not, you know, we would prefer to just focus on criminal aliens. And that's why these sanctuary policies are so bad. But also, I disagree with the comments in there. If you're here legally, you have nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
We're going after people who violate the law and do not have a status in the United States. So that's where we're at.
All right, one quickly, just put up the map here, guys. 32 states now could lose federal funding if they ignore the executive order that bars them from offering tuition assistance to illegals. There's a lot of money on the line there. How's that going to go?
32 states?
Look, that's a risk they're going to have to take. Look, the federal government has always had a lot of control over the purse, over giving a lot of money to states. And if they choose to flout immigration laws, they're going to face some consequences.
Yeah, they should.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my
32 states who are possibly supporting illegal aliens. Yeah, I don't see any reason why they should continue getting federal funding if they're going to obstruct justice. Let's remember one thing, federal funding, where does it come from? Well, taxpayers' money, right? And if the illegal aliens are not really taxpayers, what are we talking about? what are we talking about? That's ridiculous. And I don't know how it works in the US if you pay taxes to the federal government and to the state as well, because that's how it works in Canada. You pay the money to federal government and to the province. But yeah, like, definitely agree. If you're going to obstruct justice and harbor the illegal aliens, and the worst thing is that they usually know who is there illegally. They even knew about the criminals that Joe Biden let into the country. Well, he didn't. Well, I mean, he kind of let them in the country. If you know about them, if you know they're criminals and you're not doing anything about it, that's like you literally let them in here. And that's the ridiculous thing, right? Like, if you know about them, deport them. Especially if they're criminals. Why are you protecting them? So yeah, I really hope President Trump will win this, and just, there's no logic in this. It's insanity. And I wish more Americans actually realize that that's where the taxpayers' money is going, to harbor illegal aliens. Obviously not all of the taxpayers' money, but look, even if it's I don't know, $100 every 2 months, that's still more than it should be, right?